What's up, guys? Trilogy here with Trilogy Effect. Today we're doing another Ending Explained. Today we're going to be doing an Ending Explained video for Black Island. It's on Netflix, trending right now. I watched this movie the other day, and it's one of those, those controversial teacher-student relationships. One thing, before we get into it, let me tell you who I am. I'm Trilogy with Trilogy Effect. I do movie reviews, movie endings, anime, gaming, all kinds of content on my channel. I have curated playlists. I definitely recommend you check that out and see what I'm all about. Everything's sorted. I guarantee there'll be something that you like on the channel. Yes, let's jump into Black Island. So one thing about Black Island is it has that controversial student-teacher relationship where there's the student messing around with a teacher, and that's always sticky situation. I remember my friend told me to watch A Teacher on Hulu. It was about a teacher who she fell in love with a student, and that just didn't sound interesting to me at all. But it was a high school student. To be fair, in Black Island, the younger man, Jonas, or Jonas, it's spelled Jonas, but I guess it's Jonas. The J sounds like an H. J sounds like a Y, Jonas is actually a university student, so obviously he's an adult. So it's a little bit different, and they do establish that early on in the movie with Martha Roth, the girl, his teacher, Miss Jung, Miss Jung actually establishes, hey, we're both adults, we can make our own decisions. So the movie is like, hey, we know what you're thinking, but these kids, these adults are in university, and that's always weird, but the thing about it is, to me, is even though they're university students, a lot of the younger students, they act like teenagers. Like, you could have told me these characters were in high school and I would not have seen anything different about their behavior. So I feel like it's just a label. They were writing poetry. I guess we've written, I don't think I didn't finish college, so I may be lacking, but I did finish both of my English classes. Well, I tested out of one, not to brag. I didn't finish college, so it's not really much to brag about. I tested out of one of my English classes, and then the other one that I did take, I did not write one single poem in that class. So writing poetry in college definitely seems like more of a high school thing. I did that in high school. So like I said, they tell us that the students are in college, but I feel like they act like high school students, which makes it still a little fuzzy as far as the relationship goes, because it is quite intimate between Jonas and the teacher. And this movie, I'm not gonna lie, it was a little bit of a snooze fest until like the end of the second act, the beginning of the third act, when Miss Jung kills his friend. I really liked her too, but she was really nosy. She was getting a little too confrontational. She wasn't going to the authorities. She wasn't confiding in other people. So she figures out this plot, and of course, she dies. She dies. She didn't have a confidant she wasn't sharing this information with. She had leaked a little bit of it to her best friend, which was enough to get Jonas involved to basically follow the breadcrumbs. But if she had just confided in someone else, like Jonas or her parents or the police, this movie might have went a little bit different. And then she died. I knew the teacher was crazy, because obviously this is the type of movie that we're signing up for. But I didn't think she was whacked out, crazy, murder you in the library, wrap you up in a rug, and hide you under a bookshelf, then dump you in the ocean and let everyone think that you drowned at sea. I did not think she was that crazy, but it's bad to say this is when the movie picks up, and it's pretty high tense at that point. We find out who she is. She basically, and this is even weirder. I know Game of Thrones did it, but I feel like it's Game of Thrones, it's expected. But we find out that his teacher, Miss Jung, the woman who's been sleeping with him, is actually the daughter of his grandfather, making her his aunt. That's his aunt that he's been messing around with. Now, to be fair, Jonas didn't know that, but she did. She did know that. So it's crazy to me. The crazy thing is, her whole plan was to kill everybody that Jonas's grandfather cared about. I think his name is Friedrich or whatever. So in the beginning of the movie, you see his parents crash off road. That was her. She was in the other car, forcing them to drive off the road. That's crazy. But the thing is, she could have killed Jonas at any time. She didn't have to sleep with him. She didn't have to sleep with him. Like, she didn't have to do any of that to kill him. She could have killed him at any time, just like she did the parents. So I really don't understand why she had to sleep with him. It just doesn't seem necessary to the movie. But that's just my opinion. Like, it doesn't seem required as far as the murder plot goes. But as far as breaking down why she wants to murder his family in the first place, basically, like I said, Miss Jung is Friedrich's or Jonas's grandfather. That's his daughter, and she was basically illegitimate. He cheated on his wife with a random woman named Maria Roth. And she wanted him to basically claim them and support them, but he wanted her to leave the island and take the daughter with her and just never come back. And so the mom committed suicide, which is pretty drastic, with the intent of, if she died, she was hoping the grandfather would claim her daughter and she would have a better life in that instance, but he did not. He did not claim her, and she was put in the foster system, I imagine, and she grew very resentful of him, and she hatched this plot to come to the island and just basically kill everybody he cares about, because if he did care about her mother, he obviously didn't care about her enough to sacrifice a little bit of his reputation. They say he's a prideful man, and having an illegitimate daughter is very frowned upon, I guess, which I mean, it's an affair, you know? You cheated on your spouse, you cheated on your partner, that's really bad, but I feel like it's more frowned upon to not claim your kids and leave them in the system. But that's just my personal opinion. This is set in Europe, I don't know where, and there's a whole different culture there, so maybe they have a different opinion than I do in America, so I don't know. I just feel like it's worse off to leave your kid in the system versus claiming an illegitimate kid. In the end, she tries to kill Jonas in a pool after drugging him with his coffee. He manages to struggle out. He makes it inside. They have a fist fight type thing in there. It looks like he's about to die, but you know, whenever someone's getting choked out, there's always something conveniently just out of reach. Let me just grab this piece of glass. He stabs her in the heart. She dies, and Jonas presumably sells the house and he leaves the island. At the end of the movie, we see him on the boat. He thinks he sees Miss Jung in that yellow coat that she wears. He follows the girl to see if it's her. No, it's not her. It's just a girl on the boat. She's asking if he just left Keel Island, which is the island he's from. He says yes. She says, it's weird, the island is blacked out on this map. I never understood that. Presumably, again, we're presuming again that was probably Miss Jung whenever she was coming to the island and she was just staring at the map and she just blacked it out just because of the misdeeds of Jonas's grandfather. He blackened the soil there. It's haunted ground, you know. But that's pretty much it. I don't think this movie will get a sequel. As far as a rating, I don't know. I guess I give this movie like a 6 out of 10. Like, it was pretty slow at some points, but I thought it was pretty interesting at the same part. It was a lot of build-up, and I don't know if it quite paid off at the end. It was a bit predictable, and that's why I'm giving it a 6 out of 10. If you haven't seen it yet, I would probably recommend watching it. Like I said, I feel like there were some things that weren't necessary in this movie and some things that just weren't cohesive. That's why I'm giving it a 6 out of 10. But thanks for sticking on this long. I'm Trilogy with Trilogy Effect. If you want to see more content like this, please subscribe on my channel. I do video uploads all the time. And I'll catch you guys next time in the next video. Peace.